Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's show. I have some really exceptional women on the show today. Please welcome Karen and Faith, who have been really a part of our family for probably about 5 years now. So it is an honor to have them on the Gamut Network today. So with that, I'd like to introduce Karen and Faith to the show. Faith, can you tell our viewers a little bit about your journey and a little bit about your story?
So I was born with CP.
Cerebral palsy for our viewers.
Cerebral palsy, but I am 16 years old.
What else do you have besides cerebral palsy?
No, I don't.
You're allowed to say it.
I don't want to
It's a safe space.
She said she doesn't want to scare people.
No,
well, it's about
these are people
about
that
awareness.
get scared.
Yeah.
Okay.
So go ahead. It's just Miss Mindy. So what do you have? You have cerebral palsy.
What do you mean by
Epilepsy.
epilepsy?
And what do you go to school for?
Maryland School for the Blind.
And why do you go there?
Because I have cortical vision impairment.
There you go.
Which is it's called CVI.
Yes, CVI. And that's so CVI is not, you can see what we do. So it's was damage to the optic nerve. So it's the way her brain sees and interprets and focuses on what she's actually seeing.
Oh, that's interesting. And Karen, in previous interviews that we've done, you expand upon a little bit about how did this happen in terms of, I believe, from birth, right? So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So she was born early. I was actually on bed rest for 42 days in the hospital with her. And then when she was born, she was completely blue. She was like, had a cone-shaped head, and she wasn't breathing, and her APGAR scores were like very low. They had to do pretty much everything. So she was only in the NICU for like 2 weeks, but it was the day that they released her was when they told us that she had periventricular leukomalacia, PVL.
I was nervous you were gonna have me say that, so thank you.
I know. And tell them what PVL is.
It's basically where you don't get a lot of oxygen to the brain.
Right, and then so it doesn't get enough oxygen to the brain, and then parts of that it turns off, and the cells kind of die off and sometimes form little cysts. So they gave us an 85% chance of her having cerebral palsy, and then by like 6 months old, I think it was, she was diagnosed, and then we've been in therapy ever since.
So for others out there that may be in your position in terms of this is all new, I imagine this was a surprise. Yeah. What, talk us through what that was like for you as I know that you have an older son, so Faith was your second child, your first daughter. So what, as a mom, what was that moment like where they delivered this news to you?
It was scary. I'm not gonna lie, I had like a little bit of a disconnect because of the fact that with our son, he was born at 28 weeks and was only 2.5 pounds. He was in the NICU just under 2 months, and he had a lot of apneas and Brady's where he either stopped breathing or his heart rate would go below 70.
He didn't get out of there till like Christmas.
Yeah, and he had to get, even when he came home, he was on caffeine to stimulate his heart. But with his was more life or death. And honestly, I don't know how I got through that. And I truly believe too that married people, it either brings you closer or it can split you apart. And it really bonded Jesse and I through this. But it took us 4 years before, 3.5 years before we said, okay, let's try again. We want to have another child. Were we scared? Yes. But we know every pregnancy is different. But then again, here we go. With hers, I knew it wasn't life or death, but I knew it was lifelong.
Right.
So
which is an important difference, right?
Big difference.
Lifetime commitment.
Exactly. Where he, you would never even know he was premature. Lacrosse, like everything, would never even know he had any issues.
He's a super
He runs around
fellow.
Yeah. So it was very difficult, but really you just have to surround yourself with people that are going through the similar things. So we really built a close knit family with the Easter Seals, where she went 3 times a week, and just having those friends and meeting people in those places and surrounding yourself with others that are going through similar things really helps you. And then the most important thing after that is to be there for the other ones coming up after you that are going through all this and going through what you've been through, so you can kind of be there for them and guide them and help them.
Yeah, I
Really.
love that, because that's really one of the reasons why we're doing this show.
Yeah,
Not
absolutely.
only to share amazing, wonderful stories, but just to also have some connectivity, especially during the craziness of this
Yeah.
world, but also to show that people with disabilities are just people. I mean, Faith is a typical, gorgeous, excited 16-year-old who loves makeup and actually, if we could say right now, is a director, producer of a segment that is going to be aired on PBS. Maybe you could
Early
tell us a little bit
2021.
about that, Faith.
Yes. So what was your experience? So it's through by kids, and they're a nonprofit, and they pretty much go all over the world, and they actually have directors that mentor the kids to tell their stories. Now, it was interesting. We had Joyce Chopra, and I'm probably saying her last name wrong, but
Right.
she was amazing. And sorry, my dog is going to bark because my husband just walked
Don't worry.
outside.
This is the world we live in.
Okay, and so it was funny because in the beginning she didn't know that disconnect with Faith. So a lot of times.
So a lot of times I don't look at people like straight in the eye. I look to the left a lot.
Right, she looks to the left a
She was
lot.
trying to get me to look at the camera, look at the camera.
Right. So when she was talking to her, when you try to tell her to look at the camera, a lot of times she doesn't. And it's because of that cortical vision impairment, she always turns, because it's hard to look at a face, especially when it's, talking and moving. And so it was neat to see how they did that, because she was directing it. But, and this goes for a lot of kids, is they can do so much if they have the right supports in place. So it was wonderful to have this crew be her support to be able to tell her story through this, which was really awesome. So go ahead. Do you want to tell them a little bit about the experience about it? Can we say how last minute it was?
It was, but
How
I
it
think
came
that's
up?
how we seem to do our best work.
Yes, absolutely. We found out the day we were going to New York for her to go on the runway show, and
Because someone else.
and don't worry about that. And then but we filmed 2 days in New York, and then they actually came to our house and filmed for 6 days. So they were here day and night everywhere, and you just, it was 3 of them, and you really get close with one another too. And you have a lot of fun. Of course, she was nervous.
It was really fun. The other kids at my school were really interested in the camera.
Yes, we had 2 other girls that came from her school.
I was fine with them following me around because I was just kind of used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nerve-wracking in the beginning, and it just kind of. You did, yay!
Yes,
Exciting.
and
We actually went.
So amazing. I can't wait for the world to see it. And of course, I was honored that I was interviewed in the piece. But what I love so much about it, Faith, and I would love you to expand upon that, is the piece that you talked about as it relates to friendships. You had some really powerful words to say. Maybe you could share a little bit about that, what friendships mean to you and what it was like before you even went to this new school.
Okay. So
Nervous.
When I was little, I couldn't keep up with my friends, and then some friendships I would be distant with, and then some friendships I had I would be really close to people.
Mm-hmm. And then when we moved, then it was hard to make new friends, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then you went to the new school.
I eventually did make some friends though.
Mm-hmm. But how do you feel it's hard? What do you feel about friendships? That's what she's kind of asking. Like what you had said in the documentary, you talked about how it's hard to make friendships, and how does that make you feel?
Sometimes it's hard to keep up with people, and they ask me why I have a disability and what's wrong, and then I have to explain it.
And do you find after you explain it, do they understand? Does it kind of take away the mystery of it and then you guys can move forward? Or is it unnerving for them?
So, like, sometimes they get that I'm different, and they'll be like, okay.
Good. And I know that you have, because they are featured in the movie, I know that you have some great friends that support you and love you because you're just Faith, right?
Yep.
I love that. So coming soon, everybody. I will definitely promote it when we have the launch.
I think the music is coming out this weekend.
Yes.
The composer.
Yeah, she's waiting for the music to come back, and we went and we did all the voiceovers in the studio, so that was interesting. So, and then also they nominated her for something.
What?
And they nominated me for the Children's Peace Award. So if you win, you get like tons of years to it, and you get to fly to England for a week.
Oh my God.
So it's the International Kids Peace Prize Award, and last year the winner was able to have a platform where it reached 1.6 billion people, and then they also gave them 100,000 euros to go towards something close to their heart, an organization that they're working with. So I mean, that's huge. And where Faith is kind of in front of the camera, she's shy until she really gets going, or she feels uncomfortable, and that's why she's all goofy.
And then I get excited, and then my legs go out.
Yeah, and then she doesn't shut up. But
that feels very typical.
But I told her, I said, even if you don't get it, what an honor to be nominated, because she was nominated for the Harford County Women of Tomorrow Award, which she was one of the finalists, which actually one of the she had to write 2 different things on it, and one was actually about you. Yes. So it was about women now and today on who inspires you, and it was about you, on how you started everything from your kitchen table, and look at you so many years later. Hello.
And then I asked
we're on a TV show.
Yeah. And then she did who'd you do the other one on?
Bethany Hamilton.
Bethany
I
Hamilton.
The
love
one
her.
that got her like
her arm
like she got attacked
by a shark. Yes.
Amazing.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
You had to keep us posted on that. That is so exciting.
Yeah.
And then I cannot leave without talking about something that Faith has put a lot of energy into and is so spectacular to me. Can you tell everybody about your horseback riding career?
Yeah. So I just started it. I met Sally, which is my horse. She is a miniature pony, I think.
She's just a pony.
And I met her at camp, and then I decided I wanted to go there and do horseback riding. And then I was so excited because I didn't know she was going to be my horse.
And is she a sloppy eater?
Yeah. And they were like, oh, surprise.
And what does horseback riding do for you? How does it affect you physically, emotionally?
Okay, so it helps with you're sitting up, your posture and therapy and your speech.
Because that's important for the core.
Yep.
But tell her what you're wearing too. That's trying to help with your posture.
So I have a buzzer on the back of my back right now, and I'm trying to sit up so it doesn't.
Yeah. So every time, uprights. Every time she sits down and she slouches past that point, it buzzes to make her sit up.
It's not like stimulation; it just vibrates.
Yes.
Just as a reminder.
Yeah, but it's neat to see her on the horse too, because she's sitting up, and then with sitting up, then it helps because everything's open. Then you can breathe more. So, and it stretches her out really good too, because she's so tight all the time.
Yeah, and just
I used to have it at school too.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. And just to give our audience a visual, can you so you have walking assistance, right? You're either using a wheelchair or a walker. So the notion of you riding a horse, I just want to underscore that, is so magnificent, and not easy. And so I think that should be really highlighted, that this is something that is important to you and has helped you gain strength and has given you some, some stability through the notion of horseback riding.
Yeah, what I do is I usually bring my little trailer farm, and then I usually get on top of the horse, and they move my legs around so I can put it in stirrups.
Yeah, I love it. It's so amazing. So before we go, I ask all of my guests one final question. I am a big believer in vision boards. I have so many important people or things I want to accomplish in my life that I keep by my side every day in my office. So Faith, if you had a vision board of what you want to accomplish or who you would love to meet in your life, who or what would it be?
Okay. That was a hard question. Hang on.
Take a second. Whatever comes to your mind.
It would be for music, like if I went to a concert or something, it would probably be Carrie Underwood, and I don't know who else. I went to see
her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I went to a Taylor Swift concert, and it was fun.
I bet. And where do you see yourself in life? What do you think is the future for Faith? What are you going to be?
I want to be an author. I've been actually filling out applications at school and looking into colleges, even though I have 4 or 5 years left to school.
That's okay. Let's get that on your vision board. Let's get you next to a book, and that will be something that you can have a goal around. I love it. Yes. Thank you guys so much. I always love your faces and talking to you.
I also do vision boards at church.
Oh, I love that. For what? What's on the board?
With everything going on, they stopped working on them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
In the youth group, and I don't go to youth group ever since I had surgery. I've been wanting to go back.
Well, you will. You definitely will. All right. Sending you guys lots of love.
All right. Love you.
Have fun. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. See ya.
Was that good?
She's like, was that good?
You were amazing. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Please email us at talent@gamutmanagement.com and tell us a little bit about why you would be a great guest on our show.